Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lilin Tias Damayanti. So today I will explain about gender exclusive speech and style, context, and register. Topic number 1. Gender exclusive speech. Number 1. Definition, characteristic, and key concepts. Gender exclusive speech refers to linguistic features such as vocabulary, grammar, phonological markers, or particles that are used strictly by one specific gender, males only or females only, within a particular speech community. If the opposite genders use these features, it is considered taboo, unnatural, or a violation of the community's socio-cultural norms. Characteristic: rigidly structured, deeply embedded in traditional customs, and frequently reflects extreme social roles division between men and women. Key concepts: gendered based dialect, linguistic exclusivity, social sanctions for speech violence. Number 2, sociolinguistic theoretical framework. Deficit dominance theory, Robin Lakoff and Janet Holmes. Holmes, in an introduction to sociolinguistics, explained that in traditional societies, linguistics difference reflect distinct social status. Women often employ distinct linguistic variants to show different or adhere to strict social politeness, or conversely, men possess specialized language for rituals and power structures that are inaccessible to women. Number 3. Authentic examples from mass media and critical analysis. Example number 1. Specific vocabulary in Chiquito, the Chiquitos peoples of Bolivia. Phenomenon, noun suffix variation based on the speaker's gender. Theoretical analysis. According to anthropological linguistic documentation, in the Chiquito language, the word of brother is pronounced differently if spoken by a man, Iserboma, compared to woman, Ichibao. Why it represents the topic. This is clear example of grammatical gender exclusive speech. Men use specific gender marked grammatical structures that are strictly forbidden for women in order to maintain tribal customary boundaries. Example number 2, morphological variation in Yana, Native American tribe of California. Phenomenon, longer or shorter word from determined by the speaker's gender. Theoretical analysis. Drawing from Edward Saber's work, the Yana language features men's speech forms that are generally longer and more complex, whereas women's speech consists of clipped, vocalized base forms. Women only use the male forms when speaking to men in formal context. Why it represents the topic. This case demonstrates how phonological and morphological variation can be exclusively divided by biological gender to preserve traditional social hierarchies. Topic number 2, style, context, and register. Number 1, definition, characters, and key concepts. This topic explores how language changes and varies not because of who the speaker is, but rather due to the situation in which the language is being used. Style, the level of linguistic formality chosen by speaker, ranging from intimate or casual to highly formal. Context, the social environment, setting, relationship between participants, and the ultimate purpose of the communication. Register, language variation associated by specific occupations, hobbies, or activities. Example, medical jargon, legal language. Number 2, social linguistic theoretical framework. Communication accommodation theory, Howard Giles. Speakers adjust their speaking style to either align more closely with their interlocutor, convergence, or distance themselves to emphasize differences or authority. Divergence. Formality dimension theory William Labov. Labov posits that the amount of attention speakers pay to their own speech determines their stylistic shift from a casual vernacular style to formal style. Number 3, authentic examples from mass media and critical analysis. Example number 1, shift in celebrity speech style, podcast versus official press conference. Phenomenon, stylistic and contextual shifting. Theoretical analysis on informal media platforms like casual YouTube podcasts. Public figures employ a casual or intimate style characterized by slang, ellipses, and interjection. Due to the relaxed context, however, when addressing an official press conference or courtroom, they shift to a formal and frozen style. Why it represents the topic? This illustrates Giles' accommodation theory, demonstrating how speakers adapt to situational context and audience to project an appropriate impression. Example number 2, medical jargon in health news articles. Phenomenon, the use of specialist register. Theoretical analysis. A scientific news article addressing a pandemic utilizes terms such as mitigation, aerosol transmission, herd immunity, comorbidity, and pathogen. Why it represents the topic? This vocabulary choice constitute a medical or health register. This register is selected because the topic is rooted in science, requiring highly precise meanings that are recognized by the academic community and the public speaking verified information. So this is all references I use for this presentation. So now let's move on to a rhetorical analysis and classical sociolinguistic case study of the he for she addressed by Emma Watson. Dual theoretical framework. Theoretical analysis 1. Style, context, and register situational sociolinguistic. Formality variation analysis. Assessing linguistic shifts based on Martin Juice 5 Clocks 1961. Formality heresy. Institutional domain impact, highlighting the sharp contrast between formal diplomatic speech in institutional space and conversational public platform. Theoretical analysis 2. Gendered language, gendered sociolinguistic. Discourse deconstruction. Examining gender-based lexical asymmetries, communicative dominance, and the subversion of binary patriarchies. Syntactic convergence, integrating Lakoff 1975 and Tenon 1990 models to measure modern communicative authority and empirical shift in conversational gender roles. Part 1. Style, context and register. Context and use register. An assembly contextualization. Social setting. The UN General Assembly held New York, the highest realm of international diplomacy, requiring strict ethical linguistic codes. Participant, the UN Secretary General, heads of state, foreign diplomats, and global digital audience. Thematic register. High density of human rights vocabulary, social equality codifications, and multilateral institutional terms. Use formal style, characterized by pre-planned, structurally complete sentence, perspective, grammar, and highly elegant rhetorical repetition. So this is just 5 o'clock scale table. The left side The speech style choose 9861. The middle table linguistic characteristic and syntactic structure, and the right table empirical context representation. Number 1, frozen, static, highly ritualistic formulaic scripts with no real-time feedback. UN Charter, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. Formal, monologic, planet lexicon, perspective, grammar, zero colloquialism. Emma Watson, he for she, campaign launch address. Consultative dialogic transaction, professionally controlled, real-time feedback. Post-assembly press Q&A session with UN women ambassadors. Casual, syntactic ellipsis, inclusion of slang, relaxed vocal intonation. Informal conversation among diplomatic delegation during coffee recess. Number 5, intimate, hyper elliptical, private quotes, highly constrained nonverbal markers, private rehearsals, and professional reflection notes backstage. Part 2, Gender and Language, Theories of Gendered Language. Lakoff, 1975, Deficit, Dominance, Subordination of Female Discourse. Lakoff asserts that feminine speech features such as hedges, tag questions, and hesitation markers are socialized to place women in subordinate sociological position. Oratorical strategy. Watson subverts this deficit by employing highly assertive, declarative propositions. I think it is right that to construct standard communicative authority. Tannen, 1990, Differences Theory Report versus Report Talk. Tannen divides gender style into masculine status establishing talk report and feminine connection oriented empathic talk rapport. Oratorical strategy. Watson performs a highly sophisticated hybrid synthesis presenting empirical and quantitative data report while framing them within personal narrative rapport. Deconstructing gendered label. Age 8. The bossy label. Watson highlights how girls showing leadership qualities are labeled bossy, highly negative, while boys behaving identically are celebrated as natural leaders. Age 14. Media sexualization. Gendered objectification and sexualization by elements of the media replace the intellectual acknowledgement of emerging young women, highlighting institutionalized bias. Age 18. Rigid masculinity. Linguistic pressure forces young men to suppress verbal and emotional vulnerability to fit into article paradigms of absolute masculine control. Linguistic spectrum and gender. Number 1, bipolar stereotyping. Classic binary sociolinguistic model strictly segregate masculine, dominative, status-seeking, and feminine, accommodating relational communicative styles as opposite poles. Lakoff, 1975. Number 2, the spectrum paradigm. Emma Watson, 2014, calls for an unified spectrum, advocating that all human beings have the sociological and conversational freedom to integrate both sensitivity and verbal power seamlessly. Number 3, modern inclusive discourse. Contemporary academic research emphasizes how field digital communication environments expand beyond classic physical limits, enabling broader linguistic representation. Evolution of gender discourse. 1995. Assertive baseline. Hillary Clinton's Beijing speech. Formal assertive oration. commenting women's rights are human rights through conventional monologic structures. 2014 Hybrid Synthesis, Emma Watson's He for She Address, integrating rapport and report strategies to welcome men into linguistic solidarity. 2020 Multimodal Shift Digital Campaign Proliferation, Rapid Global Dissemination of Gender Neutral and Inclusive Concepts Across Digital Platforms. 2025 Modern Paradigm, Structural Discourse Equality. Modern institutional frameworks focus on dismantling linguistic dualism and standardizing inclusive vocabulary. So this is all references and literature I use for this presentation. So now I will explain about study case part 2. Topic 1. Gender exclusive speech. Number 1. What is gender exclusive speech? Gender exclusive speech, often discussed under gender-biased or sexist language, refers to language practice that exclude, trivialize, or minimize a specific gender, most frequently women. It often relies on using masculine pronouns or terms as a generic standard for all people, making one gender invisible in discourse. Number 2, why can the manager's language be considered gender exclusive? The manager repeatedly uses the masculine pronoun his, submit his report, improve his coding skills, to refer to generalized employees and programmers. By using he or his as the default universal pronoun, the language implicitly presumes that the ideal of default employee or grammar is male, thereby linguistically excluding female staff. Number 3, what social and linguistic effects may result from such language? Linguistic reinforces the androcentric, male-centered rule where the masculine operates as the norm and the feminine as the other or exception. Social creates a psychological chilling effect where female employees feel alienated, less valued, or unseen. It can reinforce structural glass ceiling by consequently associating technical competence like coding strictly with men. 4. What alternative language forms could be used? Pluralization, gender neutral. Every employee must submit their report, or programmers should improve their coding skills. Omission or restructuring. A good programmer should regularly improve coding skills. Dual pronouns. Submit his or her report to plural. There is modernly preferred for smoother flow. Number 5. Theoretical analysis, brief framework. Textbook theory. Dale Spender's Man-Made Language Theory 1980 or Janet Holmes' Sociolinguistic Frameworks. Spender argues that the English language is structured by patriarchal society, where the masculine pronoun acts a universal default to maintain male dominance in institutional space. Journal Sport. Articles examining gender's bias in workplace communication. Example Swift et al. 2004 consistently show that androcentric language reduces women's sense of belonging in STEM tech environment. Topic number 2, density. What is linguistic density? Linguistic density, specifically lexical density, measures the ratio of content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs to grammatical or functional words, preposition, conjunction, pronouns in a given text. High density means a large amount of information is packed into a few words. Number 2, how does density affect communication and comprehension? High density increases the cognitive load on the listener or reader. If text is too dense, it becomes harder to process in real time oral communication because the listener does not have enough structural breathing room, functional words or pauses to unpack the meaning. Number 3, which letter use higher linguistic density? Letter B uses significantly higher linguistic density. Letter A uses a simple low density clause. Language is a system of communication. Letter B uses heavy nominalization and technical vocabulary. Dynamic symbolic system facilitating in the transmission and negotiation of meaning and diverse social structural contexts. Number 4, what are advantages and disadvantages of dense language? Advantage: extremely precise, concise, and professional, safe space in academic writing, conveys complex academic paradigms efficiently. Disadvantages: obscures immediate comprehension, alienates novice learners, can cause cognitive fatigue if used in introductory spoken lectures. Number 5, theoretical analysis, brief framework. Textbook theory M.A.K. Halliday's systemic functional linguistics SFL, specifically his work on lexical density and nominalization. Halliday explains how academic language transitions from clausal spoken to a nominal or dense structures written. Journal Sport Studies in Educational Linguistics Fang 2005 show that high lexical density in textbooks and lectures pose a step learning curves for undergraduate students. Topic number 3, complexity. Number 1, what is linguistic complexity? Linguistic complexity, specifically syntactic complexity, refers to how intricate sentence structures are. It is typically measured by the number of clauses, the depth of embedding, subordination, and the length of production units, T-units. Number 2, which version demonstrates greater complexity? Version B demonstrates significantly greater complexity. It contains an embedded relative clause who are completed the registration process and coordinate past participle, praise, and fulfilled and administrative recruitment, modifying the subject before reaching the main predicate. Number 3, how can syntactic complexity affect understanding? High syntactic complexity increase working memory demands. The reader must keep the subject's students in mind while processing several qualifying criteria before reaching the core action are required to submit the form. This delay can cause processing errors or require rereading. Number 4, when is complex language appropriate? It is appropriate in formal legal documents, academic research papers, policy agreements, and contracts where precise, watertight conditions, limitations, and qualification must be explicitly bound together in a single legal unit to prevent misinterpretation. Number 5, theoretical analysis, brief framework. Textbook theory Chomsky's generative grammar, surface versus deep structure, or Weber's multidimensional analysis of grammatical complexity shifts language from situational or interactive to abstract or informational. Journal support research in psycholinguistics. Gibson's dependency locality theory demonstrates that longer distance between a subject and its verb increase processing difficulty for readers. Topic number 4, style. Number 1, what is language style? Language style refers to the choices a speaker or writer makes regarding vocabulary, syntax, and tone based on the social context, the relationship with the address, and the purpose of the interaction. It ranges on spectrum from highly informal or intimate to highly formal or frozen. Number 2, how the two messages differ stylistically. Message number 1, casual, informal, and vernacular. It utilizes colloquial greetings, high prof, slang or idioms, what's up, and shorthand initialisms, ASAP. Message number 2, formal, respectful, and consultative. It uses standard greetings, good morning, professor, polite modal verbs, would like to request, and explicit expressions of gratitude, thank you for your assistance. Number 3, why is the second message more appropriate? The second message respects the social distance and asymmetrical power dynamic inherent in a student-professor relationship. In academic institution, a certain level of difference and professionalism is expected to perceive social harmony and institutional norms. How does style influence interpersonal relationship? Style establishes solidarity or distance. Using informal style can build closeness among peers, but may be perceived as disrespectful or presumptuous, violating negative politeness when addressing a superior. Matching style to expectations preserves a rapport and professional standing. Number 5, theoretical analysis. Brief framework. Textbook theory. Martin Juice 5 clocks of language style: intimate, casual, consultative, formal, and frozen. Or Brown and Levinson's politeness theory. Message 1, violates face-saving needs, while message 2 use positive or negative politeness appropriately. Journal support. Papers on digital etiquette in higher education focus on how inappropriate register shifts in emails negatively impact professors' perceptions of student professionalism. Topic number 5, context. What is context is sociolinguistic. Context refers to the environment in which communication occurs. This includes the physical setting, situational, the relationship between participants, social, the cultural background and shared knowledge, culture, and the surrounding the or utterance contextual. Number 2, why can the same expression have different meanings? Because semantic meaning is fluid and heavily mediated by pragmatic factors. A word's literal definition can be subverted by youth slang, vocal inflection, shared subcultural codes, or situational irony. Number 3, what contextual factors influence interpretation? age generation. Younger generation use sick as slang inversion meaning excellent. Older generation or formal institutional context default to the literal medical definition. Setting a formal academic presentation versus a casual street conversation. Tone or intonation. The delivery style, enthusiastic versus flat, signals whether an utterance is literal or idiomatic. Number 4. How does context affect communication? Context acts as a filter that decodes intention. Without contextual alignment between speaker and listener, communication breakdown occurs, as seen in the case 2D, where some students interpreted sick literally as bad or defective, while peers decode it as compliment. Number 5. Theoretical analysis, brief framework. Textbook theory. Delheimer's SPEAKING model specifically setting participants and key tones, or Delheimer's communicative competence, knowing how to use the word sick correctly across setting determines linguistic competence. Journal support article on pragmatic ambiguity and slang illustrate how semantic shifts create communicative gaps between distinct demographic cohorts inside classroom. Topic number 6. Register. What is a register? A register is a variety of language used in specific social professional setting defined by its occupational or situational domain. Example: medical register, legal register, sport register. It is categorized by field, tenor, and mode. Number 2. Why does the doctor use different language in different situations? Situation number 1. Written chart or peer review. The doctor used the medical register, hypertension, and pharmacological intervention to communicate with clinical accuracy, economy, and objectivity to other professionals. Now, situation number 2, patient and family consultation. The doctor switches to alignment register, high blood pressure, and medication to ensure clarity, reduce anxiety, and ensure the family understands the medical treatment plan. Number 3. What factors influence register choice? Audience tenor, expert to expert versus expert to layperson. Purpose, professional documentation versus empathic counseling. Number 3. Medium, mood, formal medical records versus spoken conversation. Number 4. How does register affect communication effectiveness? Using the correct register ensures that information is accessible and actionable. If the doctor uses medical jargon with the family, it will cause confusion and fear. Conversely, using oversimplified language in medical chart could look unprofessional and lack clinical precision. Number 5. Theoretical analysis. Textbook theory. Michael Halliday's register theory, field, tenor, and mode. The change in tenor, the relationship and roles of the participant, directly triggers the linguistic code switch from technical jargon to common vocabulary. Journal support studies in health communication show that translating specialized medical register into patient-centered language significantly improves treatment complaints and patient satisfaction. Number 7. Stereotypes. Number 1. What are linguistic and social stereotypes? Social stereotype, a fixed oversimplified and generalized belief about a particular group of people. Linguistic stereotype: language that explicitly states, implies, or reinforces those biased generalization or the labeling of specific speech patterns as inherently linked to distinct traits. Number two, how can stereotypes be reflected and reinforced through language? Language encodes social bias through essentialist statements. Women are naturally or men are naturally. By using categorical words like naturally better, the speaker farmers learned social roles or systemic disparities as permanent biological truths, cementing the stereotype in the minds of listeners. Number three, what are the potential consequences of stereotypes in professional environments? Gender segregation. Women might be steered away from leadership roles toward communicative or support paths, HR administration, while men are default selected for strategic executive positions. Bias evaluation. Performance reviews may evaluate identical behaviors differently based on gender. Example, an assertive man is assertive, an assertive woman is aggressive. Number four, how can language be used to reduce stereotypes? Individualization. Focus language on individual skills and credentials rather than broad demographics. Alex has strong leadership skills rather than men make good leaders. Inclusion of natural counter examples reframing corporate objective around meritocratic behavior criteria. Number 5, theoretical analysis. Textbook theory, Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, linguistic relativity, the concept that the structure of a language shapes its speaker's cognition and world views. Continually using biased language shapes structural bias within workplace culture. Journal support, research on gender stereotypes in organizational communication. Haleman 2012 details how descriptive and perspective gender stereotypes in managerial discourse create systemic barriers to female leadership tracks. So that's all the materials. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.